We don't know.
What up? We're live. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the NerdUP episode 3.
Damn it.
No, this is not a reel. This is real. Let's get in.
This is real.
This is live?
This
Are we
is
live?
We are live.
We're live. Guys, make sure you smash that like button as well.
Live.
And subscribe.
And subscribe. all that good stuff.
All that good stuff. All
Oh,
right.
gosh.
How's
What about
everyone
the
doing
chat?
today?
Have
Is
we
that a
figured
bowl of
out the
Frosted
chat?
Flakes?
Yeah, what is that? Is that some orange chicken?
No.
Yeah, orange chicken with milk.
What's on the menu tonight, Ryan? Come on. You got to share.
It's homemade chicken and rice.
I thought that was milk and Frosted Flakes. Holy shit. I was like, what is
Milk and Frosted Flakes.
That's what it looks like with the fuzziness of the camera. Anyways.
All
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to NerdUp episode 3.
Hey.
Today.
No, Venom, you say what up, three
Venom.
nerds. It's what up, nerd up. That's how you say it. But guys, yes, a new episode of NerdUp is coming at you right now, and man, do we have quite the topic today, Matt. The thumbnail says it all.
Canceled season 2
What are we talking about?
of The Acolyte. Andre's favorite show. No.
Oh, God.
That's his favorite show
I mean,
right
look.
after Last Jedi.
I mean, look, there are some things that I will say in support of the show, like the concept of it and all, but overall the show was crap. It was terrible.
Yeah, dude.
It was poorly executed, bad storytelling, bad writing, bad acting. It looked like a sitcom, or like it looked like a TV show.
Man, dude.
It had no cinematic appeal. Like Andor had cinematic appeal. I felt Ahsoka even had cinematic appeal.
Yeah.
Maybe not 24/7, but the majority of the time it felt like I was watching something that was cinematic. The Acolyte never felt that way. It felt like that show could have been on Disney Plus. I mean, it wasn't Disney. It could have been on the CW. You know what I me? Like it could have been on TNT. It could have, you know what I mean? Like
It could have been on the Sci-Fi Channel.
It could have been on Hulu. You know,
the Sci-Fi Channel. Man, like, okay, so I only watched the first 2 episodes, fucking snooze fest, and with May, like, it just, that whole thing with fight me with all your strength, it just reminds me of, like, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, prepare to die.
You killed my father, prepare to die.
That's all it reminded me of. I'm like, she's such a joke.
Stop saying that. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to
You
die.
killed all the witches. Prepare to die.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. It's like the way the witches die. I know, Matt. I think you've seen the.
I didn't get that
He's
far.
not
clip.
in that episode.
I tried that.
The way they die was like it's. Remember that scene in The Matrix, the first one, when that one chick was like, she was like,
Yeah.
not like this. That's what they did. They're like, what's up, Johnny Dell?
They got the idea because Trinity was in the show. They were like,
That's what it was.
hey, let's do like the Matrix.
They literally had fucking Trinity in the show, so they were
Yeah.
like, "Hey, Carrie Ann Moss." That's how they refer to her by first and last name. They were like, "What do you think we should do to kind of have them all die?" I don't know. When I cut them off, I thought they all just die like the Matrix. Good idea. Let's go. And so here's the thing. So yes, Deadline reported today or yesterday, or if not the day before,
This week.
on Monday, Deadline reported that The Acolyte will not get a season 2.
Yep.
And so there's goods and bads to this. Let's be positive and start with the bad. Why is this a bad thing? Well, here's the thing.
Oh, you're answering your own question.
I'm answering my own question. This should never have been allowed to happen. It should never have been allowed to be made the way it was made. What makes Leslie Headland qualified to be a showrunner, director, writer, executive producer? Like what gives her the rights
She
to
knew Jeffrey Weinstein.
to run the show? Is it because she was a personal assistant to Harvey Weinstein?
She came from Paramount. She did a show on Paramount.
I know
Paramount
she
Plus.
right, but like that show was
That's
like,
it.
oh, so you watch that and you're like, oh, that's it. You give her Star Wars.
Yeah.
And not
Case
only that,
closed.
not only that, it'd be one thing if they gave her Skeleton Crew, which is a limited series that takes place in the Star Wars universe. Okay, it's one thing to give them that. It's one thing if they gave her the Book of Boba Fett. Even then, I'd be pissed, right? But when you give her something like The Acolyte, a series that takes place in the past, that is pure canon to the Star Wars universe, and it's executed this poorly.
It directly affects the prequels.
And I'm sorry. Everyone's like, oh, I love the show. Hey, if you loved it, you loved it. But the writing was terrible. Nothing about this show surprised you. Nothing about the reveals were surprising. It was just not a good show. And for those who are like defending it with all their might, like, hey, if you loved it, that's great. But unfortunately, not enough people liked it. And for everyone who's saying, oh, it's because of the bullies on social media and on YouTube, when has that ever been a factor?
I know it's all about the revenue, man. No one gives a shit
It's
about
all about the revenue.
like, banter. Like even bad publicity is good publicity, man.
Oh yeah,
It just
because you're
didn't
still
receive-
talking about it. I mean, just look at all the people that didn't like it. They made videos. All this stuff. You know, it's got so much more exposure than it would have had it just been kind of a mediocre show. Like it was good, but just not great. Nobody would have talked about it because it would have been good, not great. Who cares? You know.
Yeah.
But because the show was so bad, so poorly executed, like we said, you know, that's the reason why it was a laughing stock. That's the reason why people made fun of it. That's the reason why every week was a new, like, what the fuck did they fuck up this week?
Yeah, it
right?
was like, how bad did this one go?
How bad is this episode?
Let me count the ways. And a big shout out to Johnny Dell who's in the chat. I do a show with Johnny Dell on Fridays, so definitely check that out over on Dre Area Sports. What's going on?
Nothing. Just keep talking.
Why would you all of a sudden insert that music?
I don't know. I was like, you know what? We need.
We're
music.
talking about sports, man. Let's get moving.
I know. It had nothing to do with my sports channel. There we go. Okay, anyway, so definitely check that out. And I was talking with Johnny today, and I said, you're a big Star Wars fan too? He's like, yeah, this guy's a fan of everything. And he even said he watched the first 2 episodes and said, fuck this, I'm out. This show's dumb. And it's not like Johnny's over here saying, like, oh, I'm listening to NerdRotic and Star Wars Theory and everybody else. No, he watched 2 episodes and said, this is dumb. And
He
stopped
said-
watching it.
I don't ever want to see it again. Ever.
That's exactly what he said. And that's the thing, is like, this show should have never been allowed to be made with this low quality. And the fact that in the very last episode, they shoehorned in not only Plagueis, but Yoda as well. It's like, look, I get what you were doing with the whole Plagueis idea, was that, you know, he was his master, right? So obviously Quimir needed to have somebody who was teaching him after he got exiled by I forgot her name. Masvidanya.
Oh, you're talking about the green lady?
Yeah, the green lady.
Oh, yeah.
After she exiled or somehow
Martian
banished
Manhunter.
her apprentice, it would make sense that, you know, Plagueis is the one who started, you know, teaching this kid. And I think that's a cool idea, but I think that's a cool idea if you fucking had that from the start. Like, why you haven't creeping around the corner at the very end? It was kind of like, dude, he should have been in the show. If he was in the show, if Yoda was in the show, like, not even like just a recurring character because she has to talk with the council. If you weren't so worried about trying to show how the Jedi aren't so clean as they come across, you could have had a really good story. But instead, they focus on, like, no, we got to make sure the Jedi are looking bad and that they're hiding things and that they're you know, not always so clean. It's like that didn't help the story.
Well, even the big reveal about, like, what each Jedi did to earn the negative rap or whatever.
Underwhelming.
Like, it was, they all, like, everything they did was forgivable. It was like, oh, well, I can see how they did that. All they had to say was, you know, hey, man, my bad, you know. And one of them committed, you know, I guess killing
He
himself
committed
or whatever.
suicide.
And for what reason? Because he took the speeder bike and kind of led the charge, and they really didn't do much. And then the Wookiee was possessed by the witches, so he wasn't even in his right mind. But yet he was like, no, I've got to exile myself. Like, for what reason? You did nothing really wrong. You weren't strong enough. to resist.
Exile's
all
such a
these
common
ladies?
thing for Jedi. It's just it's stupid. Like Yoda did it, then they messed it up with Luke, and then it's
They're
just-
like, Luke can do it. If Luke can do it, then the Wookiee can do it.
yeah, just everybody can do it.
Well, not only that, but
You get exiled. You get exiled.
Yeah.
I think they even said that Yoda was aware of what was happening by Venestra. That's her name, Venestra. He was aware. Sinestro, the Yellow Lanterns. He was aware of what was happening. It was kind of like, how are you going to work that in? He was like, yeah, I was letting you go about your business and watching you fail. It makes no sense.
Too busy looking at holocrons was I.
And this is the thing. It's like, it comes back again to Leslie Headland, right? What makes her qualified to have this show that is pure canon to the Star Wars universe? Not Skeleton Crew, that's going to be a limited series that's just like, a story set in this universe. That's fine. But when you have a show like The Acolyte, this show should have hit on all levels. This show should have been epic. And it wasn't at all. I'm telling you, they won't do this. I know they won't. They won't. But moving forward, every show every show and movie that they put out there, especially the shows on Disney Plus, they need to be like Game of Thrones level. They need to be cinematic. They need to be high end. It can't be what we're getting lately, because I'm sorry, but like Kenobi, that looked cheap. It looked like they were on a set. It looked artificial, and none of it looked good. And I felt like if any of that shit was on the big screen, it would have looked even worse. And when you look at the recent projects, right? Like you look at the Book of Boba Fett. Now, granted, I think they made that during COVID, so they had some limitations, right? But still, it wasn't very good. The writing wasn't very good. It ended up becoming the Mandalorian season 2.1. You know, like at the end, it was like, oh, cool, it's Mando now. Okay, cool. I think you're muted, Ryan, or maybe not.
Oh, okay.
I
agree with you.
Okay, good.
Very
and guys,
good.
if you haven't done so yet, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We go live every week for an all new episode of Nerd Up. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by becoming a member, a YouTube member, or joining us on Patreon, or you can go to nicotina.com. Oh, I'm sorry, nicotina.net, and
.com is already taken.
It's already taken. Nicotina.net for Nicotina Network, and you can become a member on the website as well. That gives you access to the community where I'm posting movie news and all kinds of stuff like every single day that Ryan never looks at. He's like, I got the emails.
I get the alerts.
But here's the thing, Ryan. Why does this show? Did it ever deserve a season 2?
No, it did not. It never deserved a season 2. In order to get a season 2 or be guaranteed, because you have to. It's like you got to put your best foot forward in anything, right? In anything that you put out for the masses to consume, you've got to be able to say, hey, you know what? This is a product we stand behind, and we think that this is such a good, like the same thing with your favorite show, The Last Jedi. They were like, hey, we're going to give the director
love it.
he's going to have his own trilogy, right? And they were like, we're going to give this to him. And then it came out and it was received poorly by the public, not by a couple people or a small, ragtag, group of people that didn't like it. It was not well received by a lot of people. There were people that did like it. And there are things in it that I like.
But the problem is that there's no plan. There's nothing to
plan.
Look forward to. So they're just giving creative freedom. Do whatever you want, and that's not working with.
Well, it's sort of they're creatively bankrupt because they're sort of their main focus is Mandalorian and now Grogu. Because the only reason why Grogu is a focus is because he was a hit. They took him out of the show in season 2. They were like, hey, no, we're going to let him go off with Luke and all that kind of stuff. But it was such a well-received character that they were like, how do we work him back in? We just exited, we just send him, off and to do his own thing, and which could have been cool and interesting, but he would have been on somebody else's show and help, with that, or whether it was Ahsoka or whatever. But they brought him back to the Mandalorian and they gave us a subpar season. You ask any real Star Wars, I won't say real, you ask any Star Wars fan, they'll all tell you pretty much, I want to say unanimously, that season 3 of Mandalorian is the worst of the series so far.
Facts.
And that's why the Acolyte does not deserve a season 2, because it wasn't received well. And like we said, every week, like, I wasn't going to watch the series, but we review these things and Andre was really pressing on me to watch it. So I did. I wasn't going to. I was going to be like Matt and like ignore it, just like some other things that I've ignored. But, it's but I did watch it and I was like, you know what? It's too predictable as far as the storytelling goes. It's not interesting at all. The characters are not interesting. The acting wasn't great. The one person that did the best acting was probably the person that didn't understand how to speak English, so they had to emote a lot of things, and they're probably given lines and they repeated it. I mean, that person, what I forget his name from, I guess, I forget his name. What was his name in the show? Kim something or Saul? Saul. His name was Saul. So I think he was one of the better actors, but then at the end, like the last 2 episodes, his story fell to shit. And he was like, I thought I was protecting both of you and I fucked up and go ahead and kill me. And
then she killed him.
At that point, I was like, you know what? Just kill the guy, get it over with. Let's just clean slate. And yeah. So I mean,
God.
Oh, wow. So let's all read that.
I was trying to add it.
Thank you for your comments, guys.
As a small one, I couldn't do it.
What's up, Integrity 101? What's up, Jason Casale? What's up, Venom
Jason
Hernandez?
Casale.
Huh?
Jay Casale.
And Sean, Nerd Costa Nostra, I see you out there as well, man. Thank you guys for being here, and we appreciate the comments. We will read some of these as we go through the show, but yeah, just keep putting stuff out there for us to go over, man, because we really do like the engagement. Hashtag still inevitable. Are you talking about Acolyte season 2 inevitable?
I don't get that. Like, okay, instead of just like canceling it all together, why not just get better writers? Or just try something different. I don't know. Like what? Why not? Why run away from it? It's like, oh, we're not affiliated with that.
I just don't like the fact that they brought in Plagueis and they brought in Yoda on the very last episode. It was like, let me dangle this in front of you so that people get excited, and then I get to season 2. And this is the problem with Leslie Headland, is like, she didn't design her storyline to be wrapped up at the end of this series. She was intending on getting a season 2. She was planned on it. There should have been an ending to the story with something left over at the end, which would have then been like, okay, there is more to tell if we want to go there. But instead, it wasn't designed that way.
You got to have a satisfying ending. You have to have something that's like, okay, you know what? The time that I invested in watching this series over 8 weeks, I feel like the conclusion that I got was satisfactory enough, and I want to see more. That's it. It's very simple.
And exactly. And Integrity 101, yeah, this is a new show on this channel. The Four Nerds, we ended that podcast 3 weeks ago, and now we're doing this show now. So this is something that we broke off and kind of did our own thing after the Four Nerds came to an end.
Mm-hmm.
But
what's up, Anthony?
But here's the thing: is like she goes. Anthony Belcher writes, "How the hell was, I guess, she supposed to be, or how the hell was supposed to be an ending when the studio did not tell her she cannot know?"
Exactly.
Yes. Well, here's the thing: is that like a lot of shows, they will then film like they'll design it to where like the story gets kind of wrapped up. And you would hope that with a budget of $180 million that you could have really, done something pretty spectacular with the show. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out. I mean, the writing itself I thought was just so bad.
Well, the problem that you were alluding to earlier was, let's just say Yoda and Plagueis, right? Those are the two, like, just your carrots dangling for whatever donkeys like the. And want a season 2 or whatever, like really interested. That's all they were doing, was trying to say, hey, look at what we could do. And that really doesn't say, look at what we did. And the problem with canceling, like Matt was saying earlier, canceling a show instead of like just firing everybody and saying, hey, we want a new showrunner and we want new writers, and we'll continue this Acolyte thing, but we need to continue it with a better story, which is kind of what they did for okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm speaking out of fucking turn, but that's what they did with Rise of Skywalker when they lost.
Why did you say that name?
They were like, hey, bring back what's his face? JJ Abrams, and we'll have him do another movie and bring in, the writer from the Justice League, and we'll have him write it. And that turned out to be fucking crap too. I mean, Rise of Skywalker was just a fast paced, like, let's get through this trilogy, and not a satisfying story at all.
Yeah, the Last Jedi sucks. The
and
Last
so-
Jedi took everything that the Force Awakens set up, and then just shit on it and just screwed it off
Well,
the
both
side.
of them did. Both
Yeah.
Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker just they
Rise-
shit on each other, and it was just like, that's why I felt like, hey, Ryan Johnson shit on JJ, and then JJ said, I got the final word, so I'm going to shit on yours too. And and the real losers are the fans. And so the biggest problem that I see is that they included Darth Plagueis. Now that you have a canceled show that included Darth Plagueis, now you have to somehow try to fit him into whatever you're doing later on. And, or, if you ever, and because you,
Or they won't do it at all because, I mean, Han Solo, Darth Maul, nowhere. That went
Darth
nowhere.
Maul, again, same thing. But Darth Maul at least had a story, or has other iterations and things like that, or
I mean, yeah,
whatever.
he
Darth
was in
Plagueis, this is the
Rebels.
first time.
Yeah, Rebels,
that
but you
you've
saw
seen.
none of that crime shit. Like he was already like secluded. He was exiled. He was exiled.
Right,
So
but
he
you
wasn't
still
doing
saw, you still got to see some of Darth Maul in Clone Wars and in Rebels.
I know,
so it
but
kind of
with,
gave
after
him
the
an ending.
Solo movie, it led to
I
nothing. 'cause
know,
he was
I
a
know,
crime
I
lord
know.
or whatever. We didn't see
So-
any of that shit.
You didn't see any of it.
So what I was saying with Darth Plagueis is, like, you've already introduced him. How are you going to introduce him again? And you have to do it like hella creative, either, and then when you do introduce him, you're like, well, what happened when he was on that planet creeping in the cave?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm
You're
sorry.
bound to that story now. You're
Mhm.
bound to the Queemere and Osha story. You're bound to May. You're bound to this version of Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, well, with Yoda now, even with seeing him at the end of the series or whatever, it doesn't really destroy Yoda, but it's just like the Green Lady, she was like, hey, let me rap with you about this thing that happened, and I hope you forget it in about 80 years when you talk to Anakin and Qui-Gon. But it's just like you don't have a resolution, and when you don't have a resolution, it falls flat. It falls flat. Like when you write something, you got to write it like you're not gonna get a part two.
Yeah.
You put everything in it that you can, and you hope that it's successful and good enough to carry its own weight, so that all the ideas that you have for a part two, you can then use it or embellish on it or whatever. You say, hey, you know what? I actually have a lot of stuff for to continue on this series or whatever, and that gives you time as well to kind of cultivate and go back and really refine, which is one of the other problems that the sequel trilogy had, was that they were on a release schedule that was not tantamount to good story writing and going back and making drafts or rewrites or the thing that really helped out the original trilogy was that they had to go back and rewrite shit. They had to go back and fix shit before they put it out because they had more time. There was no time crunch. With Disney, they had a time crunch because they just spent $5 billion and they're like, we got to make money. We got to make it back. And so that's why, you had all those films coming out regardless of time. One was pushed back, I think. Rise of Skywalker got pushed back, but like 6 months, but it wasn't that big of a deal.
No.
And when you got to the movie, you were like, this is why we waited 6 months. This sucks.
Yeah, it was like, this is it. It was just, it wasn't good. And okay, so let's go to the show itself. I mean, like, when you look at the writing, okay, so you have May, who all of a sudden flips on Queemere after she helped kill 2 Jedi, and she says, you know what? All that matters now is me and my sister. I'm out of here. And he's like, wait, the master will get mad. And it was clearly obvious it was him. It was like, okay, you're not fooling anybody, but I'll play along. Let's just see how this goes.
The princess is in another castle.
And then she's like, I'm going to turn myself into the Jedi. When they know what really happened, they'll spare me or whatever, right? And then what does she do when the Jedi show up? She tries to fucking kill them. You're under arrest. She should have been like, she turned her lightsaber off and been like, I'm not going to fight you. I'm here to turn myself in. Instead, she fought Jackie the entire time trying to kill her. It was like,
yeah.
You said you were going to turn yourself in.
No. After I kill the Jackie the Jedi, then I'll put down my saber and everything.
Here's the thing. They didn't, it's not like they opened the door and they were like, oh my God, it's May. And look, there's a dead Wookiee Jedi. She must have killed him. No, they were outside they were outside the hut, his little house when Smilo Ren showed up. And it's like, oh, who are you? Osha, get down! You know, and she gets flung out of the way. And it was kind of like, wait a minute, hold on. Why wouldn't May just run out there and be like, yo, I'm here to help? Like, you know, turn herself into the fucking Jedi. Meanwhile, the Jedi are getting fucking shish kebabbed while she's inside the hut watching through the window. Then she's like, oh shit, I better get out of here. I'm going to steal the Wookiee Jedi's lightsaber and I'm going to go. And then she ends up fighting Jackie and was like, why didn't you come clean then and say, hey, I'm not here to harm you. But what I did, I was being led astray. I'm here to turn myself in. And then when fucking Smilo Ren showed up, Jackie would have been like, fucking here, take the lightsaber. Let's fucking fight this idiot. Instead, it wasn't even
They
like
would
that.
have won, too, because they're both young females.
Oh, yeah, neither one. Well,
They
I should
would
say,
have killed him.
Well,
They would have ripped
Jackie
him apart.
died. She did get fucking turned into Swiss cheese.
She
Like,
did. And that was the coolest part of that fight sequence. I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, okay, so she's dead.
She's dead.
She met
She's
the
very dead.
Qui-Gon. He was like, you too,
Yeah.
as a Force ghost.
3 stabs was personal.
And so it's just the storytelling and the writing I thought were really, really bad.
Well, even the setup with the witches.
That's what I'm saying. Introducing
Everything.
the witches guild. Now look, I get it. There are Force users out there, and this is yet another group of Force users that we've never seen before, and we'll never see again because they were their own little faction, and that's fine, right? Like, hey, that's cool. I'm down with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, oh, we remain hidden on this planet. You're on top of a big fucking mountain in a huge facility. Like, what do you?
No one will
doesn't
see
make any
us.
sense. No one will
What about
see us.
that flag that we placed up there?
And so that didn't make any sense. You're like, okay, well, you're not staying very hidden. What are you talking about? And then when May, who goes fucking psychotic and tries to burn the place down, the place is made out of brick and mortar and
So
rock.
you know it's flammable.
How is it flammable? Do they have fucking sheets and fucking oil like poured everywhere? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: is that they're not trying to make sense of it. They're just like, no, well, a fire broke out, and fires break out, and when a fire breaks out, it spreads. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And people would say, well, you're nitpicking. Am I? Because there's so many of these mistakes that I can't even enjoy the shitty story they're telling because there's so many mistakes on top of bad writing, on top of bad storytelling.
I wouldn't say it's mistakes. I think it's
It
just bad
is.
logic.
It's bad logic.
So, and that's and when you have bad logic, it pulls the viewer out of whatever they're watching because then they're like, wait, that wouldn't happen, and they're pulled immediately out of the movie or the show or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they're thinking about that like, oh, wait a minute, that's not smart. Same thing with the whole thing, that Andre was talking about with May being inside of the Wookiee's hut or ship or whatever the fuck it was, and she was looking out and she was like, I'm gonna turn myself in, not today, and then it was like, wait, the best shot that I have, because I betrayed my master or whatever the hell, I was coming out to fucking turn his ass in, then it's like, okay, well, the best chance that I have is to keep these Jedi masters alive, and they were getting picked off easily. And then it's like, what is going on here? It was a flashy fight, and a lot of people were like, oh wow, that's so flashy. And they even promoted
I thought it was a good fight. I liked it. I thought it was interesting. But
they even promoted it. It was on par with like episode 1, Darth
That's
Maul,
what they said.
Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan.
Like,
and when
how
you
can
watch
you
that
say
fight
that?
versus watching the fight from episode 1, you're like, wait a minute, this isn't good. This is about on par with the fucking Praetorian Guards from The Last Jedi, Andre's favorite movie.
There you go. And that one looked hella choreographed too. It was so
It did.
bad.
It did. But the reason why this one didn't look as choreographed is because most of the fighting was done behind the trees. So you couldn't see it. It just looked intense and it looked awesome, right? But when you kind of slow it down and watch it, you're like, really? That's not great. It's not great, but it was the best thing in the series. It's the best thing that you've seen in the series. So you're like, I'll take it. It's not a win, but I'll take it. So you've got to, man, with these shows, man, they just need, they need to hire people that are not so agenda based and more story based, or,
so
like give us the three.
That, but explain that part. Agenda based.
Agenda based is like, the focus of the story or the focus of a character is based on something that we see in our reality today. This is supposed to be a kind of like a Lord of the Rings, and they even do that shit with Lord of the Rings now. These writers and showrunners and all that, they need to like say, hey, you know what? Let's give you a world that doesn't have our worldly views. That's the whole point. Whether it be a galaxy far, far away, or the Tolkien universe or whatever, that's like not even in our universe or whatever the fuck. Like, they don't deal with shit that we deal with, right? They have their own issues or problems or whatever, and it's supposed to be an escape. Everything that you're watching, it should be some form of escapism. If it's some sort of fantasy or sci-fi or whatever, it's supposed to be escapism from the mundane reality that we live in.
Absolutely.
And so the reason for that is so that you can kind of not turn your brain off, but you can sort of wind down from watching Fox News, CNN, all the bullshit, all the stupidity, all anything, right? Same thing with like sports or whatever. That's why people like sports, because it's an escapism. You don't have to worry about your problems for 2 hours. You're watching two teams on the field try to execute plays and shit like that, because it's all rigged anyway. But going back to the Acolyte, it's like, the problem that we have, and I'm looking forward to the Skeleton Crew, but the problem that we're having is that Kathleen Kennedy and the people that she hires are focused on the wrong thing. They're not focused on telling a story. They're focused on telling you a narrative.
Yeah. And that was the problem. It was just, the writing was so bad. Like, okay, so the fucking, what was he? The squirrel guy or the chipmunk guy?
yeah, Beaver dude.
The beaver. Okay, so when they first introduced him, they went with the whole non-binary thing, which, look, they went for it, whatever. There was better ways to do that, but I was like, whatever. But when you finally saw what he could do, how he was able to, like, when they were following him, I was like, hey, that's cool. That's a very Star Wars-like character.
Not only that, but his look, his appearance, his integration into the, like his performance was really cool. And I was like, oh, wow, that's a great way of mixing, live action, person in a costume with CG, nose, nostrils blowing in and out, and his mouth moving
nostrils.
Nostrils. And just sort of the way they made that character come to life, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. But the problem is they took that character and said, okay, I'm going to fuck with some like logic here. Again, takes you out of it. You had Saul chasing May in a ship, and he was like, I'm going to fire my gun. And he, the little beaver dude said, hey, that's an imposter. That's not OSHA. That's May. In the only way he can, kind of communicate or whatever. But, Saul wasn't smart enough or in tune with the Force enough to know that, or even take looking at May and say, hey, what the fuck is up with the tattoos on your face? You're not OSHA.
She had a fucking swirl on her head.
Yeah. He's like,
I didn't see that. The dreadlocks covered it up.
Did you just get that? Is that new? Did
that happen during the fight?
Did that happen during? Yeah. Did you do that on your own? Or were you doodling?
Did that happen during the fight? Did Smiler Ren spin
What are you talking about?
around?
I've had this the whole time. You don't pay attention? You're trying to mansplain.
She's like, I got it from Voldemort.
Voldemort, the name we shall not speak. Smilo
I
Ren.
mean, the fact that she had a fucking scar on her forehead was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was dumb. But aside from that, you had the little
It was like,
beaver
that's
guy
Harry
say, "Hey, you know what?
Potter."
I'm gonna out May." But also, when she escaped and got into her ship or whatever, and she was flying away, and Soul
What's
was
up,
gonna
Phil?
catch her and shoot her or whatever, he disabled Soul's ship. And it's like, wait, whose side are you on? Are you on no one's side? Do you want no one to win? Are you trying to help no one? Like,
Yeah,
are
why
you
did he
just?
disable the ship? And why was he targeting her? I was like, are you gonna blow her up? I mean, like you're about to.
He's
fucking-
like, I have you now.
fire photon torpedoes.
Bombs away.
or like, I thought it was cool that, and like I said, there are cool things about the show. I thought it was cool when she went into the rings of that planet and she was flying through the asteroids. But you're right.
He should
All
have
he had
flown
to-
above.
Above, just like I
His
see
ship was
you.
bigger. Hers
I
was.
see
That
you.
made sense that hers went through it, but he shouldn't have been in it, like with the big ship. Like one of the. This is dumb. I'm sorry, I can't help that. That's weird. So, but yeah, I mean, dude, God, the show overall is just. They needed somebody else to come in and say, okay, we're gonna refine what you gave us. We're gonna refine this script. Because what they filmed was a treatment. What they filmed was a first draft.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. They needed somebody to come in and fucking fix it. They needed somebody to come in and say, hey, you know what? I like your concept, but these things here don't fucking make sense. So they need to be altered, changed, removed, or we'll add something else that makes it make sense. That's what it needed.
You could have even had, to me, it would have been more interesting if it was about Quimire's character killing Jedi, and you're trying to figure out why. And so it should have been about Soul and Jackie investigating, trying to figure out who this guy is and where he comes from.
Yeah, no OSHA May required.
OSHA and May, that whole thing was unnecessary, and I felt this is why, because the story should have been centered around why Quimire or the stranger was going around killing all these Jedis, because he was trying to get to Venestra. He was trying to lure her out because he wanted payback for what she did to him. And at the same time, Plagueis should have been there the entire time, orchestrating the whole thing.
He should have been popping in and out with like maybe
Yeah.
a line here or a line there, or just or somebody in the fucking shadows. There's his presence. He wasn't until the last fucking and like I said this before, is that dude, when you finally show him, your general audience is not going to know who the fuck that is.
Yeah, they're not going to know.
Because there's no introduction, there's no, there's no illusion, there's no nothing to he was just some creeper in the background for a lot of people. They were like, who's that? And it wasn't that big of a who's that to like garner a fucking season 2. They were like, who's that? Fuck. Oh, what's
Who
this?
was that
Oh.
creepy guy?
Do
Was
you
that,
think
was there a
they'll- do you think
monster
they'll
hanging out?
Do you think they'll pull a? Oh, that's not Doomsday. That's not my Doomsday. That's not Plagueis. That's not
No,
my Plagueis.
no. I don't think so. I think
That would be funny as
with
shit.
Darth Plagueis, the way he looks, I liked. And I don't think that because
He looked badass.
he
I thought
looked
he
good,
great. I was
but
like, oh,
he
that's
was
cool.
utilized poorly. Poorly.
Yes.
Let me say that again. He was utilized poorly
Ah, there it is.
because
Okay,
people don't know how to fucking integrate this shit. They
If-
don't know how to fucking put a character in there and make it fucking
don't
make
know.
sense, make it useful, make it work with the fucking story that they're given. They don't. And if you think, oh well, they did and they did a great job, then I'm sorry, you're in the minority of people that think that this is a fucking horrible show.
I would argue that it's sort of comparable, and I don't like comparing it to this. I don't like this
Last
comparison,
Jedi?
but no, like okay, so what Zack Snyder did with Steppenwolf, the scene that was deleted from BVS.
Uh-huh.
It's a badass scene. I love it, but a lot of the fans were like, "Who is that? Who's that bad guy?" They had to figure out that it was Steppenwolf because he
Yeah.
made him look different.
Yeah.
And so I think that if the general audience would have seen that Steppenwolf scene, they would have said, "Who's that? Who's that? Who is that?" And then they're gonna have to go look online and figure out who that was, because he wasn't like the exact replica of what you saw in the comics. But obviously, I think that Steppenwolf scene is badass. I love that scene.
Well, the thing is they could have even done something like that with the Darth Plagueis hologram or some shit, right?
yeah,
Like,
but see,
you know,
and that's the thing with Zack Steppenwolf. It was a hologram. So then you're
Yeah.
like, wait, who was he talking to, and
So
why
that-
was he showing the
it's-
mother boxes?
Like I said, it's the way that they incorporated the character into the show. They did it in such a way where it's like, wait, this motherfucker was here the whole time? Because they went back to the fucking planet. They went back to that place. So he, you know, where May was, where she saw, you know, Darth Smiley's, you know, erection or just member was, you know, it was at the same place. So I mean, was fucking Plagueis looking there too? Like, I like it too. You like it, OSHA. I like it too. It looks.
Well,
we used it a lot with you when you weren't here. Now that you're here, I have to go hide in the cave.
But at the same time, it's like you're telling me that both May and OSHA could not sense Darth Plagueis on the island. He couldn't. Neither one of
Nothing
them
in the
could.
show really made a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, none of it made any sense. Obviously, like, okay, so when they were gonna memory wipe her, he was like, it was
like
so
a protocol
quick.
droid.
Yeah, like it should like it took more effort to pull out a memory out of a non-force user in Poe Dameron
Yeah.
than it did to wipe out May's memory up to the age of 9. You know, it was kind of, or I should say up to the beginning of the season. She's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what's going on?"
They're like, you don't remember what you ate last summer? No.
She's like, "No, I only remember what happened at the beginning
what
of
about
episode
all my
1."
vacations?
You know what I mean? She was like, "Oh, I can only remember what happened at the beginning of episode 1." Yeah, like
That's a lot to like. I mean, there's so much maturity that she would have learned in her teenage years and all that, you know, that now she doesn't have. So she shouldn't be like she should be age regressed.
It didn't make any
after
sense.
that happened. She'd just like, "Who are you?" and just kind of skipped away.
It didn't make any sense.
Nothing made sense because it was stupid.
And then like the idea that what's his name? The young guy with the fake beard.
Yord? No, that guy. Oh God.
Like his
Justin Timberlake. What was his name? Jedi Timberlake.
Jedi Timberlake.
It started with a T.
His
because
whole
there's
arc
Timberlake.
was
Right?
stupid. It was hella
No, it started with
dumb.
a
It
J.
was like,
I don't
oh,
care.
so you're mad at yourself because you wanted to go home
Jalen.
because you didn't want to finish the mission and you wanted to leave. And then he gets on a fucking speeder and takes off, and he's like, and then Soul's like, I'll go after him. And it's kind of like, you're gonna send Soul after him? He's the one who's trying to save the girl. He's obviously using this as a way of getting back inside the fucking base to kidnap Osho and May, if you could. And so it was kind of like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then, okay, so let's rewind a little bit. When Soul first found their hideout on top of the big mountain, you know, the big fucking facility, he couldn't use the elevator because he's like, oh, it's not working.
Oh,
And what does he do? He climbs up the fucking mountain. He climbed an entire mountain in his robe with his fucking lightsaber, and he climbs all the way up there and then sees what's happening and then climbs all the way back down.
Yeah,
Just
but
tell
didn't Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan have some sort of superhuman jumping abilities and all that kind of shit when they were running through the Trade Federation ship? So
maybe
did they
he
not
used
have
the,
them?
The Jedi a Jedi speed climbing. But anyway, and then later on he's like, I know how we can get inside. How? It's kind of like
we climbed the volcano that's hidden from everyone.
It's like, just let him use the damn elevator. Come on, guys. This is getting a little silly. And not only that, but it's like, wouldn't that have taken
not only
him?
that, but freaking Anakin and Obi-Wan, like they just cut a hole in the elevator. Why not just do the same method? Just
Yeah, and cut the cord. You know? But then it's like he climbed up there. But they both, him and Jedi Timberlake climbed up the mountain.
Yeah.
Tobin.
Tobin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Tobin's
I knew it
spirit
started
guide.
with a T.
So Tobin
Samsonite.
Samsonite. So Tobin and Soul climb up the mountain,
Mhm.
and you would think that, like, okay, that should probably take you a good 12 hours to get up there. No, they did it like in 10 minutes.
They're like,
And it
due
was-
to the story and constraints of 20-minute episodes, we made it up and down fairly quickly.
Well, and that was the other thing too, was that these episodes were so short. It's like it didn't even give time for it to breathe. There's just so many fucking mistakes. on the show.
Yeah,
And I think the show had
and, like,
potential.
no concept of time. I mean, if you remember from the beginning when Osha crashed in the snow, how did the Jedi just catch up with her so quickly? Like they were like right behind her. It just made no sense. It's just I don't know. It's just convenient. Like
None of it makes any sense.
It doesn't.
So let's go back to the mistakes that the Jedi made that left them, in peril or in exile or mad at the world mad at themselves.
To put themselves in a state of what was it, hovering? Was it levitating?
Yeah, he's
And
exiled himself.
Didn't
Like,
use the
what?
restroom for 17 years.
It made no
that makes sense.
Does
No,
he get
no, no.
thirsty? Does he eat?
Exactly. It's again, guys. I'm talking to you about logic. Logic.
Does he
There's
shit
no
and
fucking
piss?
logic. They needed people to come in with logic.
Ryan,
and say,
how
"Hey,
can you say logic? They use lightsabers and fly around in X-wings and use laser blasters. And you want logic?
laser swords?" Yeah, no, guys, it's just a show.
Well, but that's the argument is that, well,
I like
like-
my shows to make sense.
yes. It's
You
called good
know?
writing. It's called good writing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's good writers out there. Disney or Lucasfilm just hasn't hired him yet.
There's no direction, and that's the problem now. So when you look at all the projects that have come before this, right? You're talking about Lando that went from a series to a film to being canceled.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Rangers of the New Republic canceled. We know why that got canceled.
Because of Rescue Rangers.
No Mando season 4 because now we're gonna do the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. No,
Which is a
Boba
great
Fett's-
title.
Yeah. And then no Boba Fett season 2 and no Acolyte season 2. Skeleton Crew is a limited series. The only series that is still alive in Star Wars is Ahsoka. Because Skeleton Crew is a limited series. Now look, looking at all this, right? What I can kind of ascertain from all this is that they're trying to scale everything back. They're like, hey, let's cut all this shit off at the head and let's only keep what we need going. And that's
Only
the problem.
what you need to survive.
Exactly. And that's the problem with Disney Star Wars is that they invested in so many different stories and series that it just it diluted the entire universe.
Diluted.
And Kathleen's gonna go out with a bang.
She's gonna retire with a lot of money.
Have they even mentioned? They didn't mention the Rey Skywalker movie at D23, did they?
Well, they can't.
No, they did
They're
not.
like, hey, and then D23 are like, can we do that? We're gonna cancel the Acolyte, so let's not touch that one.
Yeah, let's not.
Right.
Sorry,
But then they had Manny Jacinto, who played Quimir. They had him there at fucking D23, and they were asking him questions on the stage. And they even asked him, "Are we gonna get a season 2?" He's like, "Well, I hope so." And then on his fucking birthday, they announced that they are canceling. They're not. No, actually, sorry, it was never canceled because it was never greenlit. They announced that they are not moving forward with a season 2
Creative
of the
difference.
Acolyte on the motherfucker's birthday. Like,
That's horrible.
happy birthday! There we go. Got rid of
Plus,
that.
I mean, they have to show face just so people aren't like, "Holy shit, it's not happening," you know. And then there's uproar or whatever. It's just controlled damage.
But here's the thing: is that like in the history of Kathleen
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy, she would have done a season 2 just to prove the fans wrong. Like, dude, we're gonna stick to our guns, and we know what we're doing. We're gonna push on, right? And a part of me, as much as I hated the show, a part of me wanted there to be a season 2 because, as much as I hated the show, this is canon. So I need to see where the story goes because it's canon.
Yeah.
Though we'll never know unless they decide to do like a Darth Plagueis series, which I highly doubt.
What they'll do is they'll do a young Sheev Palpatine show, and that's how they'll reintroduce.
I've been waiting for that forever.
Yeah.
I've been
They'll-
saying
they'll
they'll
do
do it.
They'll find some English actor, and
And then you're gonna end off the show with him training Maul. Boom, done.
yeah,
Connection.
Baby Maul will be there.
Man,
He's
I've
like,
been thinking of that idea forever.
he's got a double-sided rattle.
You're stupid.
No, this is what we're gonna get. We're gonna get this.
Yeah,
It's
but you're
be
gonna
like,
get that with Maul.
This is-
Oh no! Wake up! It's Grogu.
And
Come
then
on,
it's like,
Grogu.
and then that guy, the Wookiee Jedi, he got fucking. He's like, oh, I exiled myself and put myself in a weird planet because he got his mind taken over here. He was in their mind
It
control.
wasn't even he was not in control of what he was doing. What's her name?
It's like, how dare you? How dare you let someone, a whole group of witches take over your mind? How dare you?
You stay out there and don't you come back. Yoda doesn't want to see you.
Real Jedi would never let that happen. You suck.
How dare you? You're gonna tell Kiadi Mundi, so you can't come back. He's got to be ignorant.
And that's why there's no more Wookiee Jedi.
That's why there's no Wookiee Jedi.
I mean, at least we got to see him fight in the finale, which I was like,
that
okay,
was
well, at least
cool.
we get to see him.
There was some cool stuff in the show.
I thought
cool
the fighting
stuff
was
doesn't
good.
Outweigh the shit.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah,
You can't.
Tread water and shit. So, what was that? Oh, also Trinity. Like, okay, so her big thing was that, she was trying to save her Wookiee friend and cut the fucking cord, the mental cord with all the witches or whatever, where either they passed out or they died, and then they died from maze fire. I don't fucking know, because I don't care. But that was her big fucking, problem or sin or whatever you want to call it. Like, oh no, she exiled herself because of trying to help out her Jedi friend. Like, okay, that makes no sense either. That's, again, dumb logic, stupid. It's just stupid.
It's just dumb.
It is. And
then,
who else? Who else?
Well, like Carrie Ann Moss, they're like, oh, she made a mistake because she killed all the witches. It's like,
as the mother was like turning into a demon, going into like a fucking a dark cloud of I don't know. I was like, is this the snap from Marvel? What the fuck is going on? I was like, and the little girl snapping too. I was like, holy shit. Well, no shit. I would have been like, oh no, it's you, bitch. I'm gonna you're killing your daughter. I'm gonna kill you. Fuck you. You're done. And she was like, I was going to let her go. I was like, well, you should have fucking said something. You have a mouth, don't you?
Yeah. Why didn't you tell me what the fuck you were doing?
Like, oh no, I'm gonna turn into this fart cloud and try to get my daughter with me or whatever.
She's like, I saw this in Green Lantern. But it was like, look,
Sinestro. Oh,
like,
this is
like all of a sudden she was like,
yeah,
he was like, oh shit. It would have made more sense if fucking Jedi Timberlake, what's his name, Tobin, if he killed her, because then he would have been like, oh my god, I just did mother.
That. I'm so fucked in the head. I gotta grow a crappy beard,
a neck beard. But it was like that would have made more sense why he would exile himself, because he killed their mother and he started like, then eventually it led to this horrible event. Yeah. And it was like, oh man, okay, that would have been like probably the only redeeming factor of any of these characters. I would have been like, well, that makes sense.
This show is it's just a lot of misunderstandings.
Apparently. Yeah, like Joe is right. Why do all the males in the show look like idiots? I don't know.
Because of Kathleen Kennedy and because of Leslie Headland, the showrunner. That's kind of what I was saying earlier about, like, the whole, bringing cultures. Because when you watch a lot of shows, like look at a lot of the dads out there. A lot of the dads are idiots from sitcoms on up and on down or whatever, dude. The dads are always morons. They're always portrayed as, like, look at Home Improvement, look at fucking Simpsons, look at Family Matters, look at anything, dude. I'm just bringing up older shows, but there's a lot of shows out there that just portray dads as bumbling fools and shit, morons. And so that's sort of the thing, their narrative is they're like, yeah, no, fuck guys, fuck them. We don't like them. We think they're stupid. So let's make them stupid. And so they were like, yeah, we'll make this one dude, we'll give him a stupid haircut and make him a beefcake, but an idiot. It's kind of like fucking Chris Hemsworth as Thor. He's an idiot. The first film he wasn't, but now he is. He's an idiot. And then you've got fucking Chris Hemsworth in the Ghostbusters show that nobody liked. Why is that? Same problem, same issue. They made him a fucking idiot, a beefcake idiot. And it's the same thing. They're just always trying to make men fucking morons. And they want to demonstrate that. And that's not, it's like, come on, dude. I'm all good with, like, hey, I'm fine with idiots, because they're funny. But it's just like, dude, it's just in a lot. And that's, and when they put it in stuff like this, it's just not fun to watch. It's like, okay, what are you trying to say here? what's really going on? Because not every character, not every male is an idiot, but they're like, no, we have to have, we have to kind of demonstrate that, show that. Like Soul, he made a bad decision. He shouldn't have fucking held a bridge. He should have held the girls and brought him to him using the Force, but he didn't because he's an idiot.
He's an idiot. Even when anyone saw that, even the people who supported the show, when they saw that, they said in their minds, well, why don't we just grab the twins,
levitate the girls?
Yeah.
Why are you doing what the fuck is the bridge? And the same thing.
But
Yoda.
You've seen that done plenty of times in the show too, where they catch each other with the Force, even in Obi-Wan. It's like,
because she fell off,
but
and you caught her.
You've got he's a Jedi master, right? You got a Jedi master. Luke couldn't bring up or raise up his X-wing swamp, but Yoda could. And then at the end, in Andre's favorite movie, The Last Jedi, you saw that, what was it? Did he raise the X-wing up, or was that in the Rise of Skywalker? I can't remember because both movies sucked. So
Ray raised the rocks.
Ray raised up the X-wing.
They didn't raise. No, the X-wing stayed in the water.
No, somebody raised it up.
She got out with the X-wing. She escaped with
so then X-wing. She had to raise it up because it was underwater.
Yeah, somehow,
because that's where he parked it. He was like, it's safe there.
Somehow Palpatine survived.
Anyway, but what I'm saying is that when Luke was not a master, he couldn't raise it. But Luke being a master, he could. Yoda being a master, he could. Soul is a master.
Even Obi-Wan that was out of practice for years, he was able to save Leia when she fell.
Yes,
so
absolutely, absolutely.
No,
but yet these guys who are Jedi masters. Okay, look at it this way: when we first saw the Phantom Menace, okay, we saw Jedi. Well, at the time, it was Jedi at their peak. We saw a lightsaber fight faster than we've ever seen in our lives, and we're like, "Wow!" And George even said, "Yeah, well, these are like full-fledged, fully trained Jedis, and so they're capable of doing, they fight faster because it's just they're professionals." But Soul, coming from the high point of the Old Republic, the high point of the Jedi, couldn't think of, I'll catch the girls and let the platforms fall. He was like, he couldn't hold them up long enough. It was just kind of like, what are we doing?
This mountain is huge.
And
the power of
one,
the power of two, Benny.
The power of two.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. The power of many, the power of one cut off the power of many, and they all died.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what happened to the power of many? I thought you guys were fucking badasses. I guess
again, it's like, where's the logic? Again,
there is no logic.
You gotta have somebody fucking proofread.
There's no logic.
You gotta have them proofread. Like this show could have been way better. It could have been monumentally better. But
let me present this real quick. Hold on. Okay, this is Leslie Headland's IMDb. Okay, so starting off, she was a co-producer for Bachelorette, Assistants, this TV movie, executive producer, Sleeping with Other People, co-executive producer, Cleansed is a producer. Heather's Finding the Asshole, Chapter 3. She was was that the Acolyte, the precursor? Almost Family, Pink and Blue. That's a short. She was a producer for one episode of Almost Family. And the Finding Asshole was a short. Her most successful would have been Russian Doll. 15 episodes. She was an executive producer. Single Drunk Female TV series. 20 episodes for 1 year, one season, whatever. And then, boom, The Acolyte. Showrunner. Like, what? How does that make any sense?
Yeah, what a great resume.
How does that make any sense? What makes her the right choice to head a show that takes place at the origins of the Star Wars universe? Why would you... What?
Yeah.
Give her skeleton crew.
One of the reasons why... and she said this. I don't know if it's true. But one of the reasons that she said that she was able to do is because she went and pitched this to Kathleen Kennedy. And Kathleen Kennedy was like, you know what? I've heard pitches all day. I haven't heard one like this. I'm picking yours. You're the showrunner. Let's go. Girl power, Force is female.
Shut up.
I'm sorry. That's what she said. She said that she had heard all these pitches and hers was the most unique. And I was like, great. then she's good at telling or giving pitches, but that doesn't make her automatically a showrunner or qualified to do this big property that is Star Wars, which has a lot of people who are like, man,
everyone else sounded like too much like Star Wars. Yours sounds like different. It's outside
Yeah.
Star Wars. Let's make that happen. Let's put it on.
Let's make that happen.
yeah. So I kicked out so many. Martin Scorsese came in here.
I know.
kicked
She's
him
like,
right out.
Spielberg, Spielberg,
Filoni,
get out.
Who was begging
Hedlund,
me? And I told him, take a hike. Even
Hedlund,
my
pour
husband,
me a drink.
Frank Marshall, he came
Let's
in.
go.
I said, go home. I'll see you in a minute.
I will not make you dinner.
I will not make you do it.
But then it's like, and then the story, like, okay, so let's pretend we're gonna pitch the story. I'm like, okay, so this takes place. What is it? 100 years?
No, 80 years.
80 years. I don't know how to. It can't be. 80
I know.
years.
It's like this story takes place 100 years. No, wait. 80 years.
80. I like that.
What
I
does
like
20
it.
years mean?
She's like,
Okay, so it takes place.
pizzazz.
It takes place 80 years before the Phantom Menace. No, not the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace. I know. So this show, we're going to introduce Osha. She is she
Osha,
works
is
on
she
ships.
from,
She's a mechanic on her own. Doesn't know her place in the universe.
Yeah.
Only to find out that she was actually a twin of another. She had a sister named May, and they came from an order of witches that used the Force in their own way. Oh, witches, yeah, and they're lesbian witches because they all love each other.
Stop
Which
right
is like-
there. I'm in.
I'm invested. You have my money. I just got on this app called Threads. What if we called the Force the Thread?
Yeah. Oh God. But then it's like they cast two girls to play Osha and May as kids. Why wouldn't they cast twins? They're two different girls.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them. I'm like, those are two different girls. The whole time I was like, those are two different girls.
The way that it works in Star Wars is when you're a twin, identical twin, you start off not looking like each other. You'll look like fraternal twins, but by the time you come into your own and you reach adolescence,
Not only that, but you're not rocking the
identical
same damn
minus
haircuts.
your
You're not
haircut.
rocking the same haircuts. There's no way.
Also, you can get a spiral of a tattoo, and that'll show how they're different.
It's so bad. It's her. Let me find a picture of these two kids. I mean, God bless them. They did the best they could.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the kids. I was
wrong with
fine
the
with the kids'
kids.
performances. I never said anything negative ever about these kids. They're fine. Just they did what kids do. They got in front of the camera and they acted great.
But it's like they're supposed to be twins. You don't get older and become twins. You're twins at a younger age. If anything, you become less twins as you get older. But not
also
in this
because
case.
they were split apart, so they would have grown up differently. They would have looked
those are
differently.
two different kids. Look at their jawlines. I mean, just and again,
but their
are you
haircut's the same.
it
So
doesn't
duh.
matter.
Look.
Again,
When
are you
twins are
saying
born, they have the same haircut and they wear practice. Look at that. I think it's even the same clothes. The same
guys,
outfit.
They're
we got to
they're
save on
two
money
different
here.
kids.
We can only afford one actor.
Okay, so let's get two.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Well,
It doesn't make any sense, and to allow that to happen was just like ridiculous.
They could have done. They could have done what they did with the lady for Osha and May. They could have just hired one of those girls, and then had the other one as the double. For like the
Or they could have cast two twins.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but you could.
on.
I mean, come on. You're not going to
This is
find.
ridiculous.
You're not going to find
They're
twins that
two
look
different kids.
exactly like. Yeah, they are.
How
but
did
what I'm
that
saying is
pass?
They could have done what they did with the girl. I forget her
Who
name.
signed off on that shit? Who looked at that and said, "Who looked at this? Where is it?
I don't know.
shit.
I don't know either. Who looked at this and said, "Yeah, that works.
Yeah, Leslie Headland. She
Good
signed
job.
off on
Good
that.
job, Leslie." It's kind of like no. Anyone should have been like, "Well, those are two different kids." I know, but they're twins. They're kids. It doesn't matter. No, it does matter. They should be the same person. They're played by one person when they get older, but yet they're
Yeah.
played by two different people
Sure.
when they're kids. That doesn't make any sense.
Why did you do that? I cut it off, and then you played it again.
No, I was trying to cut it off.
Because
'cause
twins. It's a double fail.
Okay,
It's a double fail.
Yeah, wait, it was a double mint fail.
Twin fail.
Yeah, that was a double mint fail. There we go. It just doesn't make any sense. None of the show made sense. It had all kinds of flaws in it. It had bad writing. It had. They're introducing issues that we deal with in our own social, political life that I don't want to experience when I'm watching a story that takes place in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
I want to be taken away. I want to escape and watch a Star Wars show about fucking Star Wars. This show didn't need to have the twins. It didn't. I felt like this show should have been about the stranger, Quimir, murdering Jedi, and Jackie and Soul are trying to investigate who this guy is, what he wants, and what is the connection to Venestra. Only to find out the entire time he's been taking orders from a Sith by the name of Darth Plagueis. And this is how Plagueis is introduced to the Star Wars universe. Not
what we got was
he got
Darth
the idea.
plagiarized.
No, Plagueis got the idea from the witches. No. It should have been that Plagueis was trying to do this all along.
Yeah, he's
working
been
on this.
researching on his own. You know, he's been looking up like holocrons, and he's been, scouring the universe for this, that, or whatever.
Because obviously, based on this show, he wasn't the only one to think of that. It's kind of like, come on. It'd be one thing if he told the story of these two girls that happened eons ago.
Have you ever heard the story, tragedy of Darth Plagueis?
Well, I know, but
Well, neither
it's
have
like,
we.
Imagine if he told the story to Quimir saying, however long ago there was so and so, and they tried to create life through the Force. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, it became unstable. Whatever.
I will succeed. What they have
Exactly.
failed.
But instead, it's like you spent so much time trying to tell this story. That you didn't let anything else develop. It was just so bad. And then after Quimir killed all her friends, killed fucking Borg, or what's his name?
Yord.
Yord. After he killed, he snapped his fucking neck. He takes her back to his hideout. He gets butt naked and swims, and she's like, and she gets excited. And not only that, but she's standing there and she has the lightsaber and she's pointing it at him like this.
Like a gun.
I'm like, that's not a gun.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And she holds it. He's like, you should really hold it more upright. And then she ends up pointing it at him. I was like, why? The whole time I was like, why is she pointing it at him for? He could just be like, give me that. None of it made any sense. It was really bad. It's bad. I don't think I can talk about this anymore. It's just so fucking bad.
What were your thoughts about the show from what you did watch, Matt? Like, I know you stopped from episode 2 or whatever.
Well,
but
yeah, I wasn't able to catch up to you guys. I got busy at work.
Okay. So what was the reason why you didn't even watch the show in the first place? Because as the show was progressing, I was telling you about it. I was like, hey, yeah, you want to watch it, whatever. What's
none of the trailers interested me. Just like any other. Oh, he's gone.
No, I took him out because.
Okay, I was like,
we're talking about this. So I was like, he's probably doing something.
None of the trailers interested me. Just like any other of the recent Star Wars that's been released. Skeleton Crew looks kind of cool. I'll give it a shot. But so far, plus, like, they haven't had a good track record of anything that's been coming out anyway. So I just haven't been looking forward to anything.
Yeah, they don't have a good track record. That is a good point. The same thing with like this whole Mandalorian and Grogu. I was like, damn, that's not even an original name. That's like Luke Skywalker and oh no,
yeah, we surrender, we surrender.
Now there is one of them. Watching it's backwards.
Yeah.
He's like, you're holding it wrong.
It was so
dumb. You're trying to mansplain,
dude. Oh my god. When she was holding that,
she made it bleed a different way.
When she was holding that, I was like, why is she pointing it? Like on my camera.
Yeah. Whoa.
We're using the Force.
The Force.
Trying to hold up a bridge.
It was kind of like, well, what are you doing?
Will
I was
hit
like,
the like button.
I hope you hit the like button.
But you know what? Hey, what do I know? Because people are like, there's nothing wrong with that. That was fine. She was defending herself. Well, why didn't she just fucking ignite it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna fucking kill you for killing Yord and all my friends, you assholes.
Well,
Then
not
she's
only
like,
that, dude, I'm waiting on like a non-lightsaber fight between, characters and shit. I want to see him use the fucking Force against each other, and that would be cool.
You
It
saw
doesn't
that beginning of
always have to
episode
go
one.
to the lightsaber. It would be cool to have like Force pushing, Force pulling, Force, just crushing something around somebody or whatever, just using the Force, just all kinds of shit. You can do a lot.
You're talking about like
Outside of
with
lightsaber.
Mace Windu in the Clone Wars movie,
Yeah.
where he's just bashing the robots and he's just going ham.
Yes. Something different, something new, something exciting. To rely on lightsabers just to have the flashy, all the time. It's like, it's okay, but that's so basic, because there's so many more things there's so many more abilities and things that they could do, and if you explore that, maybe that'll help some of these other people like Leslie Heldon, like, oh shit, you mean Jedi can do this? Yeah, you say we gonna die?
I'm telling you, I bet you they were like, hey, you made the Force bleed, or the lightsaber bleed.
Force bleed.
Force
Gross.
bleed, yeah.
The Force is female.
You made the lightsaber bleed. Anakin never did that.
He couldn't. He did multiple attempts. The
I know,
chosen
but
one couldn't do
she
it
was
that
probably like-
easily.
She was probably like, I don't care. We're gonna do it in my
She's
show.
like, I wasn't even trying to do that.
She was like,
cooler
I
in
don't
the
care.
comics too. Whenever Vader did it, it was like fucking. It was a whole thing, a whole event. When she did it, it's like the fuck. Like you just
Well,
minimalized.
Oh,
what we
okay.
could
So
have had.
for those of us or those in the audience that don't know exactly what happened, how did it happen? How was it cool? What made it cool?
Oh well, I mean, shit, dude. I don't. I just saw.
Good luck with that.
I didn't
Yeah,
really. I didn't
yeah,
like read it.
got him.
I just saw that like okay, he had it in his hands. He held
Yeah.
it down, and it was like a whole event just going through with like turning this crystal from blue to red or whatever. Because Sidious sent him on a whole
Yeah.
mission to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And what she did, it's so minimal.
Because the only crystals that are there or available are green, purple, and blue, and I guess now yellow because of fucking rays. But back in back in the
stupid.
had the
Force bleeds
cartoon
once a
or
month.
whatever, they had purple, green, and blue crystals everywhere or whatever. And when they were mining them, or when they would send you'd had your Jedi trials or whatever, you go carve your own your crystal or whatever, and that was it. And that's the only things that they fucking sold at Disney as well, except for now we have a black crystal or some shit that's there. So okay,
Dark side.
but no. So now it's to make it bleed, it takes a lot of concentration, and it doesn't just happen right away. You have to actually focus.
Yeah, that's why there's not that many Sith. It's
Yeah.
like it's a whole like
Okay, here we
coming
go.
of age type of thing.
Uh-oh.
So she holds it up because he tells her to hold it up that way, and then
God.
he's in the water.
There he is. You see the bubbles?
Look at
You see the
Watch.
bubble? He ate beans.
he farted. Yeah,
yeah.
like she's holding it. She should have ignited it. I don't know why she didn't, because I guess she was
Well,
attracted
that
to the guy at this
costs
point.
too much. Somebody would have to rotoscope.
Look at what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
Holding
the-
it like
the-
a
the-
flashlight.
Yeah,
It's not a gun.
This whole time it
It's
seems
not-
like it
it's not a
should have been
flashlight
ignited. I feel like
nor
it
a
was supposed to be
flashlight.
ignited. They just said, "Oh, we can't afford that."
Look at he's gonna get out. I need to show you my
I need to
lightsaber.
show you my. This is
Why
how
is
you-
she holding it like that? Why
is
is she
how-
holding it like that? That's not how you hold a fucking lightsaber.
He's like, watch mine
It's-
ignite.
It's not a blaster. It's not a gun. What are you doing?
It's a flashlight.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there is no one there to check Leslie Headland, for that matter, to say, well, why is she holding it like that?
I
She's
doubt she was
defending
there. She
herself.
was probably at the fucking catering truck. She's like, oh yeah, it looks good.
It's
I'll
a stupid.
have
It's a stupid
donut
show, dude.
and,
I'm
bagel.
over it. You know what? Look, at the end of the day, it's a sad state of affairs when a Star Wars show gets canceled. That sucks. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
the concept of that sucks. It should have never gotten to that point. It
Yeah, I
should
don't like the
never
concept.
have been allowed to get to that point. But it did.
It should have been handled with care and with someone that has a better looking track record.
And I have to agree
Yes!
with Bob Iger in that, like, hey, we got to start releasing quality instead of quantity.
And
You
so a
know,
part of
we
me
can
wonders
wait.
Yeah, we can wait
Was this
as
all-
long as
was
it's
this-
good. I'll wait.
Was this already in production? Was this already too far ahead?
I think when this was in production when Bob Chapek was in place. RJ probably knows better about that than I do, but I
RJ's
think
not here anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Chapek was, if he's not, that's cool. But he'd the one that I would know, that I would think that would know. But yeah, so Bob Iger came back. He's the one that's like, oh, Star Wars fatigue. It's not, and the same thing with superhero fatigue. It's not fatigue, dude. Unless you count fatigue being I'm fatigued from bad content. Give me good content. You couldn't fatigue me from that. Anyway, I don't know what else we can say about this bad series. It's just bad.
It's just bad, and it deserved to get canceled.
It deserved to get canceled because of the effort they put into it.
Oh my goodness! As if
What's
it
up?
couldn't get any worse for the Acolyte and its fans. Let me just go ahead and share this because this is bottom of the barrel. This shows you what they think about your beloved the Acolyte. Okay, this is it right here. All merchandise for Star Wars Acolyte have been removed from the Disney online store.
Oh, what? No way. What is screen time? Okay. I guess.
That's it.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
They removed it. That's how bad this show was.
The only good thing about that for the fans that like this stuff or bought this shit, is that
They got something
because it's
valuable
been
now.
discontinued, it's now gonna be considered rare. It will be considered a collector's
It
item
has
to have
value
something
now. Yeah.
that stinks.
I think this will be as.
Damn it! I should have bought it.
He said, I should have bought Quimir's helmet.
Damn it!
Smilo.
Oh, that's
That's
not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere.
Or like what Drogo was saying, they never made a Lego set for the show.
No.
I almost feel like this show
Like
was too far into production for them to stop it. It was like a train
Yeah.
that had no brakes. They're like, oh God. But the fact that they let
I can't confirm it's true.
Plagueis, oh, you can?
Yeah, I looked at the Disney store. There's no Acolyte merch.
Yeah.
Man.
They took it all
Look
down.
for Quimir.
Quimir.
The Stranger.
The
Stranger.
Stranger. Look for the
Stranger.
stranger. Yeah, you'll find the Oh, there's plenty of strangers.
Leslie, what are we going to call him? The Stranger. Yeah.
What about the child?
Why have Yoda at the end? Like, what? Why? Where was Yoda the entire time? And then you show him at the very end. He's all like
On the
debilitated.
mission I was. Went to Kashyyyk.
He looks all dilapidated too. He's like,
I went and saw Geonosis. I won't be back there anytime soon.
I visited Dagobah. I'm not sure it's good in 100 years. In about 100 years, I'll be living there, retire.
Seems like a good place to retire. Lots of snakes.
Lots of snakes, lots of water. It's just the writing contradicted itself constantly. It was just like, wait a minute, what? Like, I thought you wanted to do that. Wait, what? The little the fucking the beaver guy. Like, at one point I was like, okay, enough with the beaver guy.
Yeah.
I don't care about him anymore. Why is he still
situation with
showing
him
up?
And May and the droid was so dumb. When the droid squirted her in the eye and he bit her in the leg or some
Yeah,
shit.
she was like, ow!
That sounds so bad.
It was. What are you talking about? You should see it. It's a good show.
Beaver Fett.
You know,
Beaver Fett.
Zebra Fett.
No, he said beaver.
Beaver Fett. So it's
You gotta
it's
do it
not
with
gonna
two
be
E's, Droga. Two
officially-
E's.
It's not going to be officially destroyed until they remove it from Disney Plus. They're like,
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
delete. Guys, that didn't happen.
You'll
There we
find it
go,
with the
there we go.
Ewok movies.
It would be with the Ewoks, Battle for Endor.
I would rather watch the Ewok movie than watch the show. I really would.
You know what? I did like that stuff when I was a kid. Wicked.
I did
Beaver.
not.
I mean, does it hold up well nowadays? No.
No, it
But
does. It does
This
not.
show didn't hold up well, and it's a new show.
Yeah. It's automatically a cult classic.
You know, I'm surprised that this show didn't go through massive reshoots. You know what I mean? You would think they'd have been like, hold on a minute, pump the brakes, we got to fix this shit. Instead, they were
Who
just
was
like,
fucking watching this shit and saying, so are you gonna upload it? They're like, no, it's a worldwide premiere, even a premiere to the producers.
somebody watched
no,
this.
like somebody high up, like Kathleen. She's like, I'd like to see the show. You'll see the show when the fans see the show. Like who watched it and said, yeah, no, this is good. This is actually really good.
Somebody watched it and did this.
Yeah, that was legitness. Yeah, it was. Huh?
The whole crew.
Yeah,
They're like,
the
that was
showrunner.
legit.
Somebody watched this and gave it the okay. Somebody was like,
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
They're like, oh my god, second season.
second season. It's so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah, it's
I don't
horrible.
know how people can watch this show and with a straight face say like, dude, this show rocked. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
I think most people, they pick something out of the show and they're like, this is why I like it. And it's,
No.
it's one aspect and that's it.
I can tell you why a lot of people like the ones that did like it, the majority who liked it, I can tell you why they did like it. You want to know
Why?
why? Because when they watched it, they were doing this.
they were doing Wordle.
Yeah. Oh, they're fighting
Oh, look,
lightsabers.
Matt got ooh, Wordle.
Oh,
I was like, oh shit, why is it there? I was like, okay, no, it's not. You're just messing with me.
They're like, oh, a lightsaber fight? Hey, that was cool. Lightsaber
Yeah,
fight was
exactly.
awesome. They weren't paying
Exactly.
attention.
They weren't paying attention.
And-
All they said,
and
they
for
still
anyone
flashing
who
things in
says
the background.
the
they're like,
writing
yeah, that's
was
cool.
good, the storytelling, no, it was god awful. It was trash. That's why
Yeah.
it got canceled.
Trash.
If you think that our what do you call it? Our
Review.
opinions on this show are so biased or trying to be negative, then why'd the show get canceled? Because the show sucked. That's why. It was not good. It
Yeah.
was not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah, that's it.
X-23.
X-23. There
Yeah.
you go. The
Alejandra,
best
she
Jedi
died.
almost
Yeah, she
killed Quimir. Where all
Yeah.
of the Jedi masters.
She
could
almost
not.
pulled it off. And yeah, and the Jedi Masters got kebabbed.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some Wordle. Let's do it.
Yeah.
He's like,
She
I'm
did
done
way
talking
better
about
in Wolverine and Deadpool.
boom.
Okay. Sure.
Uh-oh. Sure.
Sure. S-H-O-R-E. That's the first word I'm going to go with. And
type
hide
it.
cookies
I'm
now.
typing it. Ooh.
Who?
Hold on.
What?
hold on.
Ad block.
Not even typing right now.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
There we go.
Here
Sure.
There it is.
Boom, boom, boom. Enter.
H.
You got an
H.
H.
Whore.
Okay, so it's not an S. What?
It's
So
not,
maybe
the H is not at
it's
the
a
beginning, so it has to be at the end.
T-H.
Flash.
No.
No. It can't be
FLASH.
TH because
Oh, it can't be S. It can't be S. Okay.
Yellow's right letter, wrong spot.
Flash.
Yeah, right letter, wrong spot. Yeah, but that would have been at
What's another good word?
the end. Touch. No.
What?
We need a T. We need a T word. Do
Thank. No.
thank. Yes.
Thank. Thank.
But the H doesn't go there.
We don't know that.
We do because it's yellow.
Oh yeah, it doesn't go there. He's right.
Oh, damn. You're right. God dang it, Andre.
Whoosh. Oh, it does
Who?
no O. Zeverfet.
Punch. Punch. Punch.
Punch.
Ooh.
Wow.
Lunch.
Yay.
Lunch. That's
No,
the
it
word.
can't be N.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lunch. Quit being hungry. Eat before the stream like I do.
What goes that? What goes between you and CH?
Mulch.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
M-U-L-C-H.
Mulch.
Yeah, there it is.
Yep,
That's
that's got to
it.
be it. Boom, boom, boom,
Yeah!
boom.
Hey!
Hey,
A
impressive.
little dance. A little dance.
Hey, free
We
account.
did it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, ignore that.
We did
Yeah.
it. Mulch.
It's
The first
free.
one was the hardest one.
Yeah,
Macaw.
the first time we did it was like Fuck,
We were down to our last try. We're like, hold on,
that makes no sense.
macaw.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
Oh
hilarious.
my gosh.
What else can we say about the Acolyte?
No, I'm done. I'm done. I'm not talking about the Acolyte. I'm done. I've said
Until-
my
yeah,
piece.
until
look,
next week.
I'm stoked for the Skeleton Crew. Hopefully that shit's not a
I wouldn't
disaster.
say I'm
coming out in
stoked.
December.
I'm interested. I'll check
It's
it
gonna
out.
be a disaster. I'm sure of it, but I hope it's not. Like, I hope it's good. But I feel like
Jude Law. I have full confidence in him. He
why
did a
would you?
great
Why
job
would
in
they
it.
cast Jude Law of all people? You know what I mean? It's like what? But my fear is that they're gonna try to bite too hard into like Stranger Things. You know what I mean?
The Goonies and all that.
Yeah, where it's
They're
gonna be
gonna-
like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
I mean,
Like-
I think it's kind of cool that you have it's kind of it's stupid and also cool that you have like a Star Wars-esque neighborhood
But here's the thing.
with
This is a
buses.
limited series, and I like that. I like that it's not like, oh, are we gonna get Skeleton Crew season 2? You know what I mean? No, it's like this is just a one-off story that they're gonna tell.
But if
That's
it does
cool.
well,
If it does well, it'll change. Yeah.
it'll be like,
Maybe
oh,
if it does
season
well,
two.
season 2 is on the way.
They're like, oh, let's add the other guy from like Rocky Road. You know, let's put that in there.
They're gonna be
This
like,
year's
whoa.
Freetown.
and then a movie's gonna come out, Skeleton Crew and Jude Law.
They're gonna be like, they're gonna be like, we're gonna greenlight a season 2 of Skeleton Crew, but not of the Acolyte. And Leslie Headland will be like,
Kalel, no.
Like the guy that played Dumbledore.
Oh, no, okay. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys for coming out, checking us out, watching us bash on this Acolyte. You guys can find us here weekly, the same time, 6:30 p.m. Hopefully, I'll have the countdown ready by then.
yeah.
Well, the countdown wasn't there.
I know, because they didn't save. So the countdown will be there
He was
next
trying
week.
to keep me up late last night getting that shit ready.
I know it didn't save.
It's going to be good, guys. It's going to be real
It's
good.
gonna be real good.
It's the best countdown you've ever seen.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's gonna blow minds.
It's going to blow your mind. You're going to tune in just to see the countdown.
I just blew your mind.
Oh,
Anyways,
man. But
guys,
thanks guys for watching. We appreciate it. We thank you for all the likes, guys. If you don't happen to catch us live, catch us on the Nicotina Show or Nicotina Network, rather.
Yeah.
And so hey, with that, check out my Instagram, Zebra Comics. Check out me VT Plays
just
on
follow the
Twitch.
prompt. Follow the prompt.
And yes, I saw somebody ask if we still play video games. Yes, we do. And yes, we will on this channel as well. We're gonna have some fun. We have some game ideas lined up.
We're gonna have some
and,
mini game segments just so we can
yeah.
take a break of talking about trash like this.
Exactly. Because not every week is gonna have news that we either care about or want to talk about or whatever. We just talked about the Acolyte today because it was fun to trash. Because it's always fun to trash something so obviously awful. So, but like and share. Guys, we appreciate you being here, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
And we're out.